NCAA basketball totals for Tuesday, December 27th. This is where we look at the total, for you new guys, where we look at the total of a game set by oddsmakers, the final score, if you will, and we try to beat that total either over or under, and that's what this segment is about. We're 70 and 65 on the season, definitely not where we want to be. We want to be much better than that. We also have our NBA segment that's similar to this one, so be sure to check that out. And finally, don't forget you got SBR, Sportsbook Review, for all the odds and the numbers, the Sportsbook Reviews. Check out which sportsbooks are reputable, which ones you should avoid. That's the blacklist. All that good stuff there is at SBR. All right, let's get into this. We got 3 games on the card, all of the Big Ten, and I'm going under on every game today. First one up, here we go. We got Illinois versus Maryland, and I found all these numbers really interesting on these games. It kind of seemed, sorry, I got my NBA up. All right, it kind of seemed to me oddsmakers set these totals just a touch low when we just look at the offenses. But then you look at the defensive numbers, and you can see kind of where they went with these numbers. We got Illinois, Maryland. The total set at 138.5, but I'm going to go under that. Let me see. Sorry. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, Illinois is averaging 77.2 points per game. Maryland is averaging 74.8 points per game. Okay, that gets us well over this total. But defensively, they've been doing a good job this year. Now, Mark Turgeon for Maryland, former Texas A&M guy, he really likes to get up and down the floor. They did that a lot last year, but this year, a little more controlled tempo. Both these teams can get up and down, but when we look at Maryland, right now they're averaging just 54.5 attempts per game. That ranks just about 300th in the country as far as attempts per game. They're at home. Excuse me, they're not at home. The game is, yes, they are at home. They're at home, and so I believe they're going to be able to control the tempo against a pretty good, Illinois team. Right now, defensively, Maryland's allowing 66.9 points per game. Illinois, they're allowing 70.8 points per game. So, when you just look at those numbers in general, from scoring offense to scoring defense, and you average all out, well over this total. So I think odds makers are on top of something. Let's talk a little bit more why. Defensive statistics. Both these teams could play some D. Right now, Maryland, they're allowing opponents to shoot just over 40%. That is very solid. They also rank in the better part of the country in opponent shooting efficiency and effective field goal percentage. I think they're going to really be able to control the pace. And Illinois, not that bad, actually. Opponents are shooting 42.3% against them. That's not bad. That ranks in the top third of the country. And they rank in the top third also in opponent efficiency defensively, and opponent effective field goal percentage. I mean, both these teams can play some D, and I think that's the reason why this set is set under 140. So I'm going to go under that total with Illinois and Maryland. That's going to be a really good matchup. That should be a fun one to watch. But I like under that total. Sorry, let me get some stats back up here. Okay, next one up we got. Really low total on this one, but I think odds makers got it right. Rutgers in Wisconsin. I was impressed with Rutgers. I thought they played Seton Hall really tough in that New Jersey battle. Right now, odds makers have it at 126.5. Now, Wisconsin's been getting up and down the floor a lot more than we've seen in years past, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to back under the total. 126.5, I think it looks low, but then when we start digging into the stats here, I think we're going to get under this total. Right now we got Wisconsin, they're averaging 78 points per game. Rutgers, not bad at all. They're averaging 72.3 points per game. So you got two teams that can score. But then defensively, Wisconsin, and they're at home, they're going to really put the clamps down on a Rutgers team who's vastly improved. But still, you got a defensive team in Wisconsin where they're allowing opponents just 59.3 points per game. That ranks 10th in the country. And their defensive percentages are great. Also, they allow just 8.7 assists per game. They're like second in the country. This is a team that can play some flat-out defense. Their percentages across the board are great. They are allowing opponents to shoot just over 42%. And they're just solid. Everywhere you look defensively, they're going to really, control the tempo of this game. They don't go super fast. And I like for them to put the clamps down. And Rutgers not going to be able to score enough to help get over this 126.5. Now, on the other side, now you got to worry, is Wisconsin going to put up 70? I don't think they're going to score that much. Rutgers is not bad defensively. They're allowing opponents 62.2 points per game. That ranks 24th in the country. They're going to have to play good defense if they're going to get some wins in the Big Ten. They have not been good over the last few years. But still, when we look at their numbers defensively, percentage-wise, they've been great. Right now, they're allowing opponents to shoot 37.2%. That ranks 12th in the country. Rutgers, go figure. 39.9% on two-point shots. That ranks 7th. So Rutgers is playing some defense. Now, they played Seton Hall. They lost. On on the spread. I think they just got it. I tell you, it was 11, so I think they lost by 11. I'll double check that. But I believe it was a push on that. But I thought they played Seton Hall really, really tough, and that's a really good Seton Hall team. I'll check that. I'm almost positive it's 11. If that's wrong, I'll go back and redo this video. But I thought they played them really tough, and I think they're going to be able to control Wisconsin enough to keep them to a reasonable number, although they're going to lose this game. You got a Rutgers team defensively, like I said, percentage-wise, they've been great. So I don't see these two teams getting up and down. I think they're going to stay under this 126.5. And we got our last one up. Michigan State, Minnesota. Last time they matched up, they ended up at 130. Right now, odds makers have it at 137.5, but I'm going to go ahead and go under this total. Again, like I've been mentioning, this is similar to that Illinois-Maryland team. Two teams that can get up and down, but two teams that also play some defense. Let's look at some stats here. You got Minnesota averaging 77 points per game. Very, very solid. And you got Michigan State averaging 72.6 points per game. Very, very solid. But defensively, been very tough. Pitino's doing a pretty good job of that Minnesota club. And Izzo's going to do a good job of Michigan State as they get. That's a young Michigan State team, too. And they're on the road taking on Minnesota. Minnesota's allowing just 64.7 points per game. Michigan State, they're allowing 68.5. Their defensive percentages are good across the board. Minnesota, they're 11th in the country, allowing opponents to shoot just over 37%. Michigan State could struggle in this game. And they're shooting the ball decently well. So, this is going to be a really tough matchup for Minnesota, but I think they're going to be able to get it done at home. They also rank 8th and 12th, respectively, in Minnesota defensively, in opponent effective field goal percentage and opponent shooting efficiency. Michigan State, we know they're going to play good D right now. They're allowing opponents just 39%, and they're also allowing opponents to shoot 41.1% on their two-point shots. That ranks 18th in the country. This is going to be the pace gives me a little bit worried. Makes me worry just a little bit about this total. At 137.5, because both these teams do like to get up and down the floor. However, with the way they focus on defense, I think they're going to control each going to be able to control each other enough to where we're going to see like a 70-63 sort of final. It's going to get around 130. I just don't think they get to the 137.5. Under in all my Big Ten plays today. Recap, here we go. We got Illinois, Maryland under the 138.5. Two teams that like to get up and down the floor, but defensively, I think they're going to go ahead and keep this under that total. Rutgers, Wisconsin, and what's going to be a surprisingly good game, but Wisconsin's going to hold Rutgers to too low of a total. I don't think they're going to get there. 126.5, we're going under. Michigan State, Minnesota, two teams again, like that Illinois, Maryland team that like to get up and down, but defensively, that's where they get it done, and I think that's where they're going to get it done tonight. Under the 137.5. Take a look at the numbers to see where they go before you make your play. But those are the ones I like under on my NCAA picks on the totals, and I wish you guys luck on your picks today.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SPR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.